Welcome to the TCM Teach Podcast, the business podcast designed exclusively for acupuncturists and Chinese medicine herbalists who are ready to build thriving, sustainable businesses. I'm Sabey Smith, a licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, professor, coach, entrepreneur, yada, yada, yada. And I've spent years helping practitioners like you not only master their clinical skills, but also grow practices that truly reflect their value and purpose. Today, we're diving into a topic that can transform the way you show up in your business. It's as simple as confidence. Confidence isn't about ego or pretending to have it all together. It's about trusting yourself, standing firmly in your value, and aligning your actions with the heart of your practice. When you cultivate confidence in the TCM way, you create clarity, resilience, and presence. Something that your patients and your business all can feel. So without further ado, let's get started right after my disclaimer. Please remember, I am simply a practitioner here to support you on your journey. The information shared in this podcast is intended for educational and learning purposes only, and it should not be taken as professional, legal, or financial advice. For guidance specific to your business, please consult with the appropriate licensed professional. Thank you. So let's get started. Understanding confidence from a TCM perspective. We're going to break this down into different ways only TCM practitioners are going to understand. So confidence, let's think about that with Shen in our spirit. We want our Shen to show up clearly. We know through diagnosis, if our Shen is not showing up clearly, then there is something going on mentally. There might be something going on with the heart, but the spirit of the heart being the Shen, we're going to think of this as our confidence. When the Shen is scattered, doubt, fear, hesitation can all be presented with someone who has a scattered Shen. I think this makes sense in most diagnosis. And when the Shen is rooted, what we can see through the eyes specifically is clarity, decisiveness, and trust. Whether it be yourself, whether it be the patient. When someone's Shen is rooted, it's very obvious. So how do we tie this into business? When we have a clear Shen, we have better decision-making, stronger presence with patients, confident pricing, and easier marketing because we're confident about it. I think that generally makes sense for most people. If we have confidence, we don't have the need to ramble. We don't have the need to over-explain ourselves like we've talked about previously. We just be present, sit there for a while, be comfortable in the pause, and move forward. Confidence is not just a mindset issue. It's an energetic state. Something that needs to be cultivated and practiced over time, just like many of the other things that we do in TCM. So let's talk about clarity. I want you to picture clarity as our wood element. Like the liver providing vision and direction, in business, clarity of purpose, having clear offers and a clear message are going to cultivate the wood aspect of your confidence. Because if we don't have clarity, what happens to the liver? Frustration, anger. We're going to result in indecision and procrastination. When we put this into practice, we want to write down our North Star statement. What is the direction we're going? What are we really trying to do here? Who do you serve? How do you help somebody? And why does that matter? Really think about that. Why does it matter? What's the direction you're going? Where is the general going to take us? Because when we have that, we have clarity. So picture clarity as your wood element here, finding the direction. That way we're not getting frustrated. We're not getting liver chi stagnation. We're not getting wood imbalances. Next, I want you to picture consistency. consistency being your earth element. Like the spleen, which transports and transforms, we want to have steady energy and we want to build trust. When you have a strong earth element as a practitioner, as a person, or when you see it in a patient, they're very comfortable to be around. You're not worried about them getting up and running away. You can rely on them. And they're steady. They're consistent. In business, consistent communication, consistent patient experiences, and consistent personal practice are all great ways to show up with that earth element present in business. So when we have confidence, our confidence grows and it proves to yourself that you can follow through. Especially when you're first starting out or you're feeling really down, if you're showing up for yourself, genuinely, not focused on the outside noise, not focused on anything external from you, your confidence is going to grow with more consistency. I have noticed in today's day and age that instant gratification, while it can be satisfying at first, can also be the crux of a lot of people's success. Years ago, it was common just to work your way up the ladder, maybe in a corporate job. And corporate's completely different now too. But the point is, you start at level 1 and you work your way up to the top. This is how practice still works today with TCM. This is how business building works. As easy as it is to pay someone to help you along the way, you still have to put in your own practice. You still have to put in your own work. Otherwise, you're going to create instability. So by being consistent, showing up for yourself, whether a patient is scheduled or not, showing up for your business consistently is going to prove to yourself that you can follow through. If you could choose one small habit to stay consistent with for the next 90 days, what would it be? It could be a weekly newsletter. It could be posting on social media X amount of times per week. It could be daily journaling. I think you all know by now how I'm a fan of journaling. Or maybe it's reaching out to a certain amount of patients every week, or nurturing a certain amount of leads that come into your clinic, or showing up somewhere outside of your clinic to create a relationship of some sort to get patients in the door, getting to know the other businesses around you. Whatever it may be, choose one small habit and stay consistent for the next 90 days and see what happens. Don't half-ass it. Next, I want you to think about connection. Connection, we could think about our fire element. So we already talked about the Shen, which is the spirit of the heart, and the fire element. But let's think about connection. The heart houses the Shen, and true confidence is relational. It's not isolated. In business, when we can connect deeply with patients, colleagues, members, our community, this is not only showing up, but it's going to help fear dissolve when you realize you're not alone. Creating that connection, spirit to spirit, looking through someone's eyes, looking at someone's eyes, making that connection. So if you were to put this into practice, schedule one connection activity per week. That could be coffee with someone, colleague, friend, maybe an accountability partner, a coach. Call a past patient. Just check in on them. Hey, it's Dr. Matt. Just want to check in to see how you're doing. Attend a networking group. Just make human connection. TCM practitioners, I have seen often isolate themselves, dive into their practice without taking their head out of the sand for a bit and looking around. While you do want to keep the noise out, at the same time, you don't want to be completely isolated either. You have to have a happy medium. That's what TCM does. basic Chinese medicine is all about maintaining balance, maintaining homeostasis. And this is one way to do that. We have to nurture relationships. Because if we don't nurture relationships, if we don't connect with one another, then we too suffer as a result, not just our business. So let's talk about some common confidence blocks. And I'll try my best to relate these to some TCM parallels. Overthinking and doubt. We could think of this like spleen qi deficiency. That could be, you might be stuck in worry and having analysis paralysis. This is what I'm talking about, paying attention to all the noise and kind of setting it aside. If you're trying, be careful of where you're looking for advice. If you're not feeling confident, what's making you not feel confident? Is it you looking at the numbers of your business, or are you comparing yourself to someone? Are you comparing yourself to someone in your life on social media? Don't compare yourself to anyone else. If you're stuck in worry about finances or marketing or whatever, take a step back and honestly, take a day off. Sometimes we can get so stuck in the weeds that we forget to see the bigger picture. If it feels like you're spinning your wheels, overthinking, overanalyzing, where it's painful, take a step back, give your spleen a break. Cultivate your spleen qi once again. And then your intellect can think clearly. Next, we have fear of failure. Think of this like a kidney yin and yang imbalance. Fear, the zhi spirit. If we have a lack of trust in ourselves or in the future, we really have to anchor our water element a little more effectively. Water moves consistently. Erosions in canyons don't happen overnight. They happen over centuries. Now, we may not be around that long, but we could definitely do our best to create the water flowing in a consistent direction. And I want to share a story with you. I was part of a group of naturopaths and acupuncturists. We went to the foothills of the Himalayas in Rishikesh, India. And we worked in a small clinic there to help people in the local community. It was a really cool experience for me to see different types of cases. I think I ended up seeing around 76 patients in a matter of 4 days, which was a good amount. We had a clinical setting, and one of the big things we had to do was just try our best to keep the cows outside of the clinic because they tried to come in to eat the plants. So that was kind of funny. But one of the key things that stuck with me when I was on that trip, and I was really working my butt off too, I will say, there was prayer every night on the Ganges River. And afterwards, after dinner, there would be group discussion. Think of it like group philosophizing, where we listened to the leader of the ashram speak. That's where we stayed. We stayed at the ashram. It was part of the charitable hospital. And something that they said really stuck with me, and I still think of it today. Someone says, if someone is dealing with something that is difficult or an addiction or some type of thing they can't let go, how do you advise them to move forward? And here's something that they said. They said, the more you force yourself to think about it, or the more you force yourself to not think about it, the more the river is flowing in that canyon, making the canyon deeper and deeper and deeper. Because at the end of the day, whether you're thinking about it or telling yourself to not think about it, you're still fixated on that subject. So while it's difficult, make the river flow in a different direction. Allow the water in that very deep canyon to slowly rise while you create a new canyon in a new direction. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. But as you stay consistent in this direction over and over, day after day, keeping your mind intent and focused, slowly the canyon rebuilds where you used to be focused, because now you have a new direction, you have a new purpose, and fear and pain begin to subside as a result of that, because now you have a new path in life that's not consuming you, that's not consuming your fear. And as a result, more trust in yourself and more trust in the future can take place. So if there is a area of your business or your practice where you're fixated, don't ignore it. But if you're having so much focus on it where you can't find the answer, take a different path, take a break, then revisit. Is it the mission of your business? Is it the vision? Do you not feel aligned with what you're doing when you created your business? If you have to, start over. Whatever it takes, rebrand. Whatever you have to do, create a new system. Because over time, you can build a new canyon that has a better direction forward. Next, people pleasing. You can think of this as like weak liver chi, the Hun spirit, where there could be difficulty being assertive, asserting boundaries, and people might say yes to everything. So we could mix this into a few elements, but I'm just trying to be relatable here with TCM. So when we have a lot of people pleasing, difficult boundaries, you can also relate that to like the earth element too. But more think of the assertiveness here. You have to be assertive for yourself. Because if you're not assertive for yourself, you're going to burn out. And nobody wants to burn out. So don't say yes to everything. And if you feel like you do have to say yes to everything, go back to why you're here. Go back to your vision. Go back to your mission. And if you're not paying attention to what your life goals are, go back to that and rewrite your vision for your business and how that fits into your life, not how your life fits into your business. Burnout and overwork. Think of this as chi and blood deficiency. Too drained, can't feel confident. Just pushed too hard, I'm done. I need a break. When we have too much chi and blood deficiency, bad things happen. And we know that as practitioners. So if we're feeling too drained, feeling too confident, it's time to take a break. Time to take a day off. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to end your business. But you need to rebuild your chi and blood. What would you tell your patients to do? Do that. What we can do is we can reframe some of these things. These are not personal flaws. They're simply imbalances that can be adjusted. As if you're the patient in this case, how would you readjust yourself? How would you rebalance yourself? And that is one way we can actually build our confidence. Where's our weak point and how do we rebalance it? So I want to give you some strategies here. Daily centering practices. 5 minutes of breath work. Qigong. Journaling before starting your business tasks. Just take a minute to sit, rest, reflect. This will clear your Shen and ground your Yi, your intellect. Next, track your wins. I've said this before. Track your business wins. Keep a confidence journal if you have to. Write down patient feedback, successful sessions, and business milestones. This is going to build evidence for your mind and spirit. I remember when I was an undergrad student and I was just overwhelmed with so many classes studying science at the time. And I had this one professor, this Professor Yu, who really took the time to work with me in my class. And I liked From time to time, I like to say thank you to people who really try to help me. I try to be present and intentional. And so I just told Professor Yu, I said, hey, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to really care about me and my success and my well-being in this class and just me as a person. And I never forgot what Professor Yu said. She said, if it's all right with you, I'm going to save this email because I actually try and save positive emails from students for when I'm having a bad day. So if you've ever received messages or emails from patients, put them in a folder. So if you're having a bad day, you can go back and read them too, just like Professor Yu did. Next, price with integrity. Okay, you want to have confidence and value here. Instead of asking, what will people pay? Ask yourself, what's the value of the transformation I provide? Now, you've heard me talk about this before, and I'm going to say it again. But what this does, this aligns with your heart. Pricing rooted in service, not fear. What are you doing to help people, not how much are they going to pay? Next, we want to strengthen our chi. That's pretty obvious, right? That has to do with our lifestyle. Proper rest, movement, nutrition. These are all things we've learned in school. We want a strong body that supports a strong Shen. Confidence grows when you have the energy to show up fully. I've seen plenty of successful practitioners who lose their health. And I've seen a lot of practitioners who have their health but lose their business. How can you have both? That's why we're here. The key there is making sure your lifestyle and your business are aligned. Don't make the two separated when it comes to your time. Be honest and diligent with your time. Set your assertive boundaries. Visualize your future self. Another thing you've heard me talk about. This is about your business mindset. Who is the confident CEO version of me? This is a topic we're revisiting. How do they dress? How do they speak? How do they make decisions? What type of constitution do they have? Because you want to practice that identity now. And the more you practice, the more consistent you are, the more clarity you will have of where you're going and what that's going to look like. The reason I'm telling you all this is there truly is a ripple effect of confidence. When practitioners are confident, patients trust them more. The treatment outcomes improve as a result. Confidence attracts opportunities, referrals, collaborations in media, believe it or not, because you come off as more professional as a result. Lack of confidence creates invisible barriers, undercharging, saying no to opportunities, and avoiding visibility. If you want to hide in the background, really think about why. When you're confident, it's not arrogance. It's trust in your purpose and your presence. Now, I've taught in TCM school for a while now, and I will tell you the difference between arrogant students that I've had and confident students. I always reward my confident students by giving them more of my time and energy outside of class. Sometimes I even given them things that I no longer needed in my clinic but would help them get started. I very much think about those confident students and want to build them up because they come off as more professional. They come off as more hungry, ready to learn. And I find that those are the people more ready to continue our profession in the right direction, to make our profession lasting. That's the type of person you want to be running a business. You don't have to look like you have it all figured out. It's okay. Don't fake it. But at least put yourself in the shoes of the person you want to be now and start practicing. So I'm going to leave you with this. Confidence in business isn't about being perfect or never doubting yourself. It's about building trust in your value, showing up consistently, and aligning your actions with the heart of your medicine. When you root your confidence in the principles of TCM, it becomes less about forcing and more about flowing with clarity and strength. Where does your river need to flow to create the more direct line through the canyon? So I've created a resource. It's called 30 Days of Journal Prompts to Build Your Confidence the TCM Way. This is designed to help you uncover limiting beliefs, reframe them, and strengthen your business confidence one step at a time. You'll find it inside of the membership, of course. So in our next episode, we'll be talking about why the build it and they will come mentality doesn't work in acupuncture. Until then, thank you for tuning in to the TCM Teach Podcast, and we'll see you next time. See ya.